First-person shooters will play the way that the maps allow them to play. And of course, you're going to play on maps differently depending on how the weapons work. And of course, you're going to have to use your weapons differently depending on how the movement works. Everything complements everything in a first-person shooter. That's why being a game developer is very, very hard work. And even though sometimes I do bash on video games or pick on video games, it is important to realize that they are made by people that have to do a lot of very complicated things. So we're talking about Modern Warfare 2 again because I've had so many ideas about making videos on Modern Warfare 2. I have like 2 other ones other than this one and the one I did before. And Modern Warfare 2 just wasn't playable for me because my 360 doesn't want to read discs, so I was waiting for it to become backwards compatible, and lo and behold it is, so here I am. I've already picked on Modern Warfare 2's graphics, connection, and balance, and all of those things really. I mean, the connection is pretty inconsistent. Graphics they were 2009, and balance, well, balance is shit. But I want to talk about why you like Modern Warfare 2. From the perspective of why I like Modern Warfare 2, obviously I'm not you. The title's just supposed to be kind of catchy. I don't know why you like Modern Warfare 2, but here's the reasons I like it, and here's the reasons I think it's an objectively good game, even though it's an objectively bad game. Oh man, the amount of comments that are going to call me flip-floppy on this one, it's going to be funny. So 2 things go into making Modern Warfare 2 matches so enticing, so intense, so exciting, and so fun, and so replayable. Those 2 things are customization and map design. What should we talk about first? Well, let's do maps. The maps in Modern Warfare 2 are larger than other Call of Duty games maps. Some maps are of course smaller, like Rust, but really, most of these maps are larger than the average COD map is today. These maps aren't just large though, they are non-funneling maps. These maps are not made up of choke points. These maps are made up of what is just natural feeling terrain. They all have a layout. You could look at an overhead of any of the Modern Warfare 2 maps and say it's 3-lane if you drew 3 lines down the middle or whatever. You can do that. And of course these maps aren't just laid out randomly, but what's cool about them is they almost feel as if they were. You kind of feel like you're battling somewhere that exists within real life. It's not competitively laid out for a game, it's actually, I don't know, a real town, a real city, a real block, a real neighborhood, a real house, a real forest, whatever it might be. So how the maps funnel you and how the maps are designed to, orchestrate the combat is pretty subtle, because you never feel like you're playing a symmetrical, competitive video game map. You feel like you're playing on a piece of terrain that, again, could exist within real life. Since the maps aren't simple and the maps never funnel you into one area, you actually have a little something I've talked about a lot on this channel, say it with me now, combat variety. If you played 5 matches on the map Estate, I guarantee you they would all play differently but similarly. See, there are power positions on Modern Warfare 2's maps. There are rooftops you want, buildings you want, cover you want, lanes you want to watch and hold and take control of. That's a thing in any shooter. The nice thing is though, there are areas of these maps, like especially Estate here, there are whole areas that nobody ever really goes to in an everyday match. Why that's a cool thing is that maybe they will next match. You see, there's areas you might not battle on for 10 matches, but on match number 11, somebody's using that as a camping ground. That's a whole new thing you have to deal with. You never usually have to fight there. Battlefield does this seamlessly by making their maps so big and so complex. Sometimes you'll find yourself in a conquest match on a map you've played 100 times in an area you've never really had to battle in because somebody's using it to their advantage and you have to stop them. Modern Warfare 2 is full of little rooms and closets and doorways and underpasses and bridges and little things everywhere that you might not battle on for, again, 10 matches, but match number 11 you might, and that is a new experience. That takes Call of Duty's simple kind of run and gun twitch shooter nature and makes it a bit more interesting by adding in some variety. These maps have power positions, these maps have places everyone will gravitate towards, but they also have areas that no one seems to want to fight in, really wide flank routes that you wouldn't expect anybody to ever traverse, but occasionally someone will and they'll shoot you. And it's honestly this map philosophy that really went into Call of Duty Ghosts as well, and it's never given enough credit. I'm not going to say the maps are designed quite as well all the time, but it's the same philosophy. There's whole areas people might not battle in for a whole 10, 20 matches, but 11 matches, 21 matches, maybe they will. And that's a new experience, that's a new place to play. It's a new thing for you to take advantage of, it's a new thing for you to have to deal with, a new challenge, a new opportunity, and the game never wants you to fight at one range. My problem with everything after Black Ops 2, with the exception of Call of Duty Ghosts, and also this goes a little bit for Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty maps really want you to have mid-range engagements. Close to mid-range engagements with the occasional long line of sight on a couple lanes. This gets so fatiguing. I don't hate the games that do this. In fact, Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare 3 are some of my favorite Call of Duty games, and Black Ops 3 I had a lot of fun in, and Advanced Warfare had verticality. But the thing is, these maps all funnel you. They always want you to play at the same range. You don't have that exciting random terrain feeling you get from Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2's maps are so big and so vast at times that you find whole flank routes you've never used before, but suddenly they're immediately important because of the current situation. That's exciting. That's why I think a lot of people talk about Modern Warfare 2 as being replayable and exciting. That's why. They're not constantly throwing cover in your face and limiting you to a couple of lanes every map. They have smaller maps, but most of their maps are complex. They're multi-level, they have verticality, they have really good power positions. Some of them are kind of flat and they don't really have any power positions, and you're just supposed to have a skirmish anywhere you please. This is gameplay variety at its finest because it's not forcing you to do anything. It's just, here's the terrain, and you can play it any of the ways you want. Some maps don't facilitate every playstyle equally, but you can get away with playing the way you want, and that's where the final point comes in: customization. The fact that you can set up your class to be resistant, stealthy, or extremely fast and speedy is so important. I love playing on Favela with an unlimited sprint, faster movement, no falling damage class. Oh my god, Marathon Lightweight Commando is just it's as good as, it's peanut butter and sex. But if you want to throw on a suppressor and cold-blooded and ninja and sneak around the map, you can do that too. And unfortunately, and this is where I get into a bit more negative stuff, there are lots of weapons and attachments and things that are very easily exploited in Modern Warfare 2. But if you're lucky enough to find a match where people aren't sitting in corners with claymores and spaz 12s, or noob tubing, or one-man army danger close noob tubing, then you actually might be able to take advantage of the fact that these maps want you to play however you want to play. Again, not every map facilitates every playstyle equally, but it does allow you to have your own sense of combat variety. Here I fucking come, bitches! Are you going for streaks? Are you going to be stealthy? Are you going to be resistant? Are you going to be fast? Are you going to be aggressive? The customization in this game perfectly couples with the map design to give you an experience that's always exciting, even 9 years later. So that's why I think Modern Warfare 2 is great. And you could talk about how each weapon kills quickly, even if it's not overpowered, it's still viable. You could talk about how the streaks are really good. I personally think the streaks in some cases are too good because base raping people into their spawn in Call of Duty, I'm so glad, is a thing of the past. But either way, we all have our things we love about the game. Those are my favorite things, and that's why I see people coming back to this game in droves and still playing it 9 years later. It's an absolute improvement over what Call of Duty 4 started, allowing you to fully grasp how you want to play and having exciting changes each match because of the variety of places to play on each map. That's why I think Modern Warfare 2 is a great Call of Duty game, despite it being a horrible Call of Duty game. The balance and the connection and the fact that it's older, there's so many things that didn't age well, and it's so easy to exploit, and it's unfortunate. But I have to give credit where credit is due. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.